Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, a twice-a-week sports podcast where the Grumpy Old Man and myself just talk sports and shoot the shit. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there is no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
Grumpy, how are you this evening?
Wonderful. Getting ready for a big NFL super wild card weekend.
Absolutely. We're covering two of the games over the Super Wild Card weekend, so a lot of reason to be excited on Saturday, Grumpy Old Man, and on Sunday.
Well, that's the way we would do it.
I was about to say, I mean, you're talking about they've got some big matchups. I mean, on Saturday, we're going to be covering the Patriots against the Bills. That's going to be a fantastic game, and then
it's going to be a throwback type game, I think. Temperatures like in the single digits, mid-single digits, a lot of running, a lot of old-time, hard defensive football.
Old-timey football for certain. And those are two teams that know each other oh so well. I mean, Josh Allen going to be taking on the Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, and we're going to be covering that game live. And then on Sunday, we're going to be covering the afternoon game or the mid-afternoon game of the San Francisco 49ers against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that's one that Dallas going to win. I don't know. San Francisco has the formula that could give Dallas some trouble. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely, Grump. And I'll say this much. So if you're new to the show, number one, we implore you to subscribe. Stick around a while. Subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter.
It helps keep us alive.
Exactly. And lets us know you like what we do. That also being said, so for the normal podcast format, when we don't cover live games, we go live every single Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So providing these games is just a little way to say thank you there for the people who listen and, to provide a little bit of an alternate commentary throughout these games. I enjoy it, Grump.
Very true.
Absolutely.
And TJ loves doing the football games because then he gets to espouse on his football knowledge, shall we say. It makes him look good. He looks really good on those shows.
Hey, it's my strong suit. Grump, let me ask you this. What's going on with your hair, dude?
I didn't spray it down today.
Oh, really?
It's looking a little fluffy, right? A little fluffy?
I was about to say, it's looking a little disheveled.
It's fine. I was going to wear a Detroit Lions hat, but it's still too close. It's too far away for the draft.
Oh, good gracious, Grump. Good gracious.
I do need a haircut, though. It is getting a little puffy on the sides.
I will say this to you too, Grump. Now, a lot of big action this week we had talked about. I want to talk a little bit first off about the NFL MVP trophy. Who is going to win the MVP of the NFL this season? Because we're going to talk a little bit about the MVP candidates, and we're going to talk a little bit about the playoffs and what we expect going forward. I know we briefly touched on that last podcast. We're going to kind of take a little bit of a deep dive, though.
Okay, let's go.
Well, Grump, now, right, I think the MVP candidate trophy is kind of between two individuals, both quarterbacks, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. Now, let me ask you, I'm just going to take a guess, a stab in the dark, you being a fan of Tom Brady. You're going to lean towards Tom Brady as deserving to win the MVP trophy. Is that correct?
Actually, what I'm going to say is I'm going to pick the quarterback who had NFL record for completions, the most yards, most touchdown passes in the league, and a 13-4 record with a banged-up receiver core and with no running backs. That's the guy I'm going to pick.
So who would that be, Grump? Is that Aaron Rodgers?
It's not Aaron Rodgers. His numbers were not as good as Tom Brady's this year.
Oh, man. Well, fair enough.
Rodgers won last year, right? Here's the thing. I think with Brady, a lot of it is the fact that he's there every year. So maybe it's a little, been there, done that. I mean, he's only won 3 MVPs in his whole career. Certainly deserved more than that.
I wonder if it also is something. Well, NFL is much tougher to win an MVP trophy than is in the NBA. But I've always wondered if they had that same exact type of effect on LeBron James, right? You win it so often. You're there on a consistent basis. We need you to do something so above and beyond fantastic. What are you watching, Grumpy?
I'm not watching anything.
Oh, I just see the flaring lights on the back. But you got to do something so above and beyond and fantastic in order to elevate yourself to win the MVP.
It's like the familiarity thing. It's why Belichick is won, I don't know, only like a couple of coach of the year in the NFL. I mean, when you're there year after year after year doing fantastic work, you kind of get left in the shuffle. It's like whoever the new guy is, they're the ones. And I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is a new guy, but it's that type of thing. It's, oh, well, look at how fantastic he was today or this year.
So you've got Tom Brady. I mean, his numbers, right? You look at them, they're fantastic. And you look at it, right? Most touchdown passes in the NFL, most passing yards in the NFL, highest rated quarterback on Pro Football Focus. The guy put up great numbers this season. There is no doubt about that. But, and I'll go ahead and put that up there for you. Most valuable player based off of Pro Football Focus's WAR, wins above replacement. I see a lot, though. The odds are actually in favor of Aaron Rodgers. Now, why do you think that's the case? Is it just solely because they had the best record in the NFC and they won that home field? They won home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Well, Tampa had the same record they had, so both guys had the same record in the league. Both teams did. So I mean, Rodgers was hot. I guess a couple of games down the middle. And remember, he's a favorite too. He's a favorite to win it. How many times just think what Brady's done at 44 years old. To me, that's another thing that makes him MVP. I remember George Blanda winning MVP in 1971 when he was 41 years old, and he wasn't even the starting quarterback for Oakland. He was a field goal kicker, and he would come in and save them in games. I think he won like 5 of 6 games in the middle of the season, coming in during the middle of the game, and he wound up winning league MVP that year. I mean, what Brady's done is truly incredible. And you got to remember, this Bruce Arians offense, I mean, you look at every measurable, Brady beats out Rodgers. The only thing is the interceptions, right? I think Rodgers has only thrown, I want to say 6. And Brady's thrown 12.
Rodgers only threw 4 interceptions.
Okay, 4. I'm sorry. And Brady's thrown 12. But if you look at Brady's interceptions, they're off guys' hands. Threw that bobbled, kick them up in the air, that type of stuff. And like I said, every other metric, he's far surpassed Aaron Rodgers this year. And Bruce Arians said that absolutely Tom Brady's the MVP. Not that he's biased.
I was about to say, you think the head coach of your team, you think they're the head coach of the team, you think he's going to say, no, he doesn't deserve the MVP trophy? I mean, I will say, right? Like, I think the only thing that Brady really has going for him, and you see the second tier here, Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Cooper Kupp, he almost put up 2,000 receiving yards. That's nuts. But I mean, you look at it, I had no idea. Brady passed for almost 1,200 more yards than Aaron Rodgers did. I know that, the touchdowns are somewhat close. The interceptions are a little higher there for Brady in that category.
6 more touchdowns and 8 more interceptions. But look at the yards per game, even completion percentage. And the thing is, Brady's completion percentage 20 yards down the field is vastly superior to Rodgers also. But I think Rodgers is going to win it. Who should win it, though? It should be Brady.
Now, Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp, obviously dark horses, right? You're putting the top tier strategists between, Rodgers and Brady. What type of odds and chances Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor have at this? I mean, Cooper Kupp right here, fantastic. Did he have the most receiving yards in one season in the history of the NFL?
I honestly don't know. But remember, it's like every week. That's the thing, it's that recency bias thing. Oh, Kyler Murray in week 1. Well, this guy's he's the front runner for the MVP. It's week 1. I remember Mahomes, they were saying after 4 weeks was, the man who's going to win MVP. It's a long season. Jonathan Taylor was supposed to be the man who's going to win MVP. Then he got hurt and missed a couple of games, and that derailed any chance he had. Cooper Kupp put up a really fantastic year this year, right? To me, I have a hard time giving a wide receiver the MVP.
He had, and by the way, he had a few, like 20 or 30 less yards than Calvin Johnson in that 2012 season, but he did have 16 receiving touchdowns. When Calvin Johnson won the MVP that year, I believe he only had 5.
Calvin Johnson did not win a league MVP.
Oh, he didn't win in 2012?
No.
Okay.
I don't think a wide receiver's ever won league MVP.
And is it funny, though, that Cooper Kupp, he set second most receiving yards in a single season in the history of the NFL. Calvin Johnson has the record for the most. Both of them were quarterbacked by Matt Stafford. Is that just a little bit of like a coincidence, you think?
Yes, it is. It's purely well, Matt Stafford, when he finds a guy that he likes, he targets him, he throws the ball to him all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rams this year had injuries. Robert Woods went out. They had Odell Beckham Jr. come in, but you know, he was a new guy. And back in the day, Calvin Johnson was the man for Detroit. So, I guess you could say that also. But I mean, Stafford had a good year too. If you look at Stafford's numbers.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he tailed off towards the tail end, though. He kind of fell off, and he struggled a bit towards the end. Alexander said, "Hey, how are you guys both doing?" I agree with the flow firing, or I agree with the flow firing. The Dolphins will be a better team from this.
I totally disagree. I like Brian Flores as a coach. He's going to get a job. He'll get a job this offseason. He's a good coach. That said, he has problems. I think he doesn't get along with everyone. He's probably more like Belichick than any of the other guys in the Belichick coaching tree. And he hasn't really accomplished anything yet, if you know what I mean. But how do you fire a guy who wins 7 of 8 down the stretch? I know they didn't play a tough schedule. I know that. But still, he won 7 out of 8 games. So you're trying to tell me that his fate was sealed after like week 6? I mean, or, whatever it was. I mean,
unless he had some miraculous comeback where he made it to the playoffs. I mean, it was an uphill battle. And again, they had a weaker schedule in the second half, but he took care of business when he needed to. And you're talking about a guy, and I hate to come to his defense, but I mean, this is really his first full season as being the guy, and it's going to take him a bit. I think his ceiling is relatively low compared to other quarterbacks in that draft class, but still, you know what I mean? It's going to take him time in order to get acclimated to reach his peak, and there's a lot of young pieces on that Miami team to feel happy about. But I saw the rumors were, okay, maybe it's because Harbaugh's been available. Everything, all the speculation. I don't get the firing of Brian Flores. I think he should and will get another job. I think he's a good coach. He can use improvement in certain areas, but he's young, and I like the mentality he has.
I mean, he has fired coaches in season both years he's been there. So, maybe that's something he struggles with, being able to identify who he wants on his coaching staff. But remember, he was in New England all those years. I don't know, what other connections he had around the league, which kind of hurts a guy like that. But I do think he's a really good coach.
Now, you saw that, remember his name, Texas, the Houston Texans fired their head coach. Did you happen to see that, Grumpy?
David Culley got let go, yes. I mean, they said he was safe. I mean, he had him playing pretty tough at the end of the year.
Now, yeah, they said he was safe. I think David Coley, for the talent he had on that team, I don't know what you were expecting for him to do. I seriously think he was just a placeholder in the NFL, right? The Texans owe David Coley another $17 million over the next 3 years per source. So he walks away roughly with $22 million for coaching one season with the Houston Texans.
And they're saying that possible replacements are Brian Flores and Gerard Mayo. That's right.
Gerard Mayo apparently is the favorite right now at the moment. And I think to myself, I'm like, oh man, I mean, like what? Gerard Mayo, how long has he been, how long? I feel like just not too long ago, he was playing in the NFL, like in 2015 was his last year. And now all of a sudden, right, he's penciled in there to be the favorite to be the head coach in Texas, or in Houston Texans.
2 years he's been coaching.
That's nuts.
Or maybe this was his 3rd year. But here's the thing. I think his biggest problem, if he gets that job, is how is he going to put a staff together? Because it's not even when he was retired from football, he was doing other things. I think he was doing some financial work. He was doing some TV work for a couple of years. And then Belichick just asked him if he wanted to come back. He was assistant line coach. I think this is his 3rd year back in the league coaching. But he's never even been a coordinator. I mean, he's like a linebackers coach. And I think he's going to be an excellent head coach, by the way. And that is his aspiration, without a doubt. But like I said, I just wonder how difficult it's going to be for him to put a good staff together, because I don't think that he has his finger on the pulse of the rest of the league, if you know what I mean.
35 years old. He's going to have he's gonna always command some sort of, locker room rep just because he's been a super successful player. He's not far removed. You talk about somebody who understands the player's point of view on that. I can promise you, he definitely is one of those type of candidates. He joined. Yeah, this is his third year. He joined as an inside linebacking coach in March of 2019. So you talk about a quick ascent. I mean, this guy's penciled in to be, one of the favorites to earn himself, a head coaching position in the NFL at the age of 35 years old, which is nuts. You're seeing a lot of it move towards these younger coaches who have played or are more analytical in their coaching style. So, I mean, you think about Vrabel. I can't remember how long Vrabel had coached, but I know he spent some time there with Bill Belichick, and then he went to Ohio State and he earned himself the head coaching job at the Tennessee Titans. He's done a fantastic job too.
Yeah, see, he was around for a little while. That's the one thing, if I'm the Texans, I'm a little bit leery about, honestly. But remember, Nick Caserio, who used to be the de facto general manager, under Bill, up in New England, he's the guy. He's the main guy down there in Houston. And Gerard Mayo, I think he's going to be an excellent head coach. I just don't know if he's ready yet. I'm going to just go back to one more time. I don't think he's got the fingers out for, okay, this is the guy I want to run my offense. This is the guy, who I think is going to be a fantastic line coach. I just don't think he's been in the coaching fraternity long enough to have built up those type of relationships. And that's my only concern with him.
Now, something that's going around on social media, you're seeing Schefter report about this, is that right now there's only one African American coach in the NFL, and people are up in arms. And I think to myself, at this time period, yes, I think Brian Flores is going to he's going to be a head coach. I know Gerard Mayo is going to be a head coach. Byron Leftwich, who I think out of the candidates is probably one of the weaker ones, he'll get a head coaching position. And people are like, oh my God, this is insane. I'm thinking to myself,
I could care less.
You have to wait until the season's over. I'm telling you, I promise you, Brian Flores, if I'm thinking about a successful coach, I know he's going to be successful. And you talk about Gerard Mayo, he will be successful. And you look at a few of these coaches, you think, yeah, I know they were fired. I didn't get the firing of Brian Flores. I didn't get the firing of Coley either. But think about what Coley had to work with. He had the entire Houston Texans situation. And it reminds me, the Coley situation of being fired, it reminds me of, was it Chuck Pagano who stepped in for 1 year for the Indianapolis Colts when they were between Peyton Manning having left and they were miserable? And I think they had Dan Orlovsky for a bit and they were just hideous. They brought in a placeholder for a head coach, and then they drafted, Andrew Luck, and everything's up afterwards. But it always seems like, hey, you're going to be, as our team's going to be miserable, we're going to pick a player, we're going to pick a coach, you're going to be the scapegoat, you're going to be the get us to our promised land type of coach, get us to over the hump type of coach. And that's exactly what I think Coley was in their situation.
Yeah, I don't think they were looking him to be the long-term solution there. I mean, they were rock bottom, right?
But think about what they had to work with. Bill O'Brien completely gutted that team. Bill O'Brien, you look at the legacy of Bill O'Brien, man, oh man. And I know they couldn't have predicted what happened with Deshaun Watson, but you get rid of DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson in a second round pick. Yikes. You get rid of, I'd say, DeAndre Hopkins, when healthy, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, right, Grumpy?
Yeah, I would say so. That was a steal trade. That was a dumb trade. Everyone knew it. I think at that point in time, everyone's saying that O'Brien was trying to shoot his way out of town. He didn't like the direction of the team. Jack Easterby came over and he was in the owner's ear, or the younger McNair's ear. And that was kind of the end of that. Think about how good Houston was 3 years ago. They were like the best team in that division, and they were in the playoffs every year. The descent from where they were was mind-boggling. I just hate why Schefter has to bring up race in this. To me, just give the best guy the job. I don't even think that's even a question. Why? Because a couple of guys got fired. Do you think they should have jobs for life because they're black? For me, Brian Flores is a spectacular coach, and he will get a job this year. I don't think
like he's going to get a job. I penciled in. People are bringing it like they're looking at this one exact moment. I'm like, I can promise you, Gerard Mayo is the favorite. He will get the job with the Houston Texans. There is no doubt in my mind, and I promise you, Brian Flores will get a head coaching job. You talk about the coaches, right? They said that Coley was going to be safe with the Houston Texans. They also said Joe Judge was going to be safe for the New York Giants over and over and over again. Joe Judge is safe. Joe Judge is safe. Joe Judge got his ass canned too. Thank God.
Well, the thing with Joe Judge was they said they were going to keep him, and then he started shooting his mouth off, about, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I think the outrage from the fans, and Giants fans are super loyal, and the Maras are super loyal. But the one thing that they cave to is pressure from the season ticket holders. It's always been like that for them. And when things get that loud, he had to go. And that's a great move. They say Flores might be a fit there. I mean, they said they might even reach out to Belichick of all people. I can't see Belichick going there.
Why would he? Yeah.
Yeah, this age, I can't see him leaving there. But maybe Josh McDaniels. I mean, there's a lot of guys who could have the Giant job. And remember, they also need a general manager because Dave Gettleman stepped down also. So they have a lot of work to do.
And I'm sorry, I said it was Chuck Pagano. It was actually Jim Caldwell. They went from a team that when Peyton Manning was on them, they were competing year in, year out. He left that one season, and then think about this. Jim Caldwell lost his job after he was 14-2 in 2009. Wow, really taking the clock back at the Indianapolis Colts. 10-6 in 2010. Peyton Manning leaves, and they go 2-14, and he gets canned. You just think to yourself, I'm like, I don't know what you want to have happen when teams don't have quarterbacks. They're not going to. It's plain and simple. They're not going to win football games. Doesn't matter who you have at the coach. You could have Vince freaking Lombardi. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to be winning games. Simple as that.
And that's the problem in Miami. I mean, now let's say Brian Flores gets that job and he wanted to go to Miami. Do you think that Deshaun Watson maybe thinks a little bit differently about getting traded from there? I don't know.
Well, Alexander sent us this link here, and they said, I don't think Brian Flores was shy about telling Tagovailoa, hey, I should have picked Mac Jones. I don't think he was shy about telling him that. In fact, I know he wasn't. Michael Lombardi said on the GM Shuffle podcast. So apparently, he said, if I would have known you were going to be this bad, I would have picked Mac Jones. Flores told the quarterback, according to Lombardi.
He's not a very good quarterback. What is
it? So is Miami so infatuated with Tua that they say, okay, if we don't have a head coach that's going to support him, we need to get rid of him? Is that the reason why he's gone?
Well, but ownership said that the new head coach is going to make the decision on the quarterback. You know what that tells me? Tua's job isn't safe. They know they made a mistake not drafting Justin Herbert. They know it. Yeah. But here's the thing. They could have went back in this year and made another pick. I mean, I've never been impressed with Tua. Just haven't. I just don't think he has the physical skill set to be successful in the NFL. It's just that plain and simple.
Jeremy Ford saying the Islanders are up 2-1 after 40. Have a great show. Thanks there, Jeremy. I tell you, 2-1. The Islanders should be cleaning up against this Devils team. Cleaning up. Right there down to their fourth or fifth string goalie that they had to pick up from, I think it was St. Louis, because everybody's on COVID protocol or injured, and they have a lot of skaters on COVID. So there's no way we should lose this game. We're taking care of business. Honestly, we should have scored more. The score should be more lopsided in our favor, in my opinion. We've looked dominant. But again, it's the Devils first off, and the injuries and COVID have started them out to them. We're taking care of business, doing what we're supposed to do against the Devils.
And I'm nothing if not consistent. Everyone who was crying when the Islanders were losing games because of COVID, supposedly, I said, that's just the way it is. So I'm the same way here. Devils, you don't have your full complement of players. Boo-hoo. That's the way it goes. No, you're not going to hear me crying in my crying crocodile tears with the Devils. Just not going to happen.
Gotcha. Jeremy Ford here saying Bellows with an assist and Bailey with a goal. I saw that Bailey goal.
I did not see it. I'm DVRing the game so I can review it later.
I'll be honest with you. It's a fantastic goal. I think that might go down as one of the top 10 goals in NHL history. That's how magical it was. It required so much skill, and he had to deke between all 5 skaters on the ice twice, so 10 dekes in a row. He puts it backhand, shelves it, puts it over the goal. It was magical.
Something tells me the puck just bounced off his butt and went into the net.
How about like a loose puck bounces off a goalie who's the 4th string goalie for the Devils, and he just like dives and hits it in the net? I'm like, it's a nice goal by being down there. It counts, but it wasn't like, I'm not giving a whole bunch. It was an Anders Lee type goal. I mean, it was a quintessential Anders Lee goal.
He doubled his goal scoring in one day.
Absolutely. Alexander said, yeah, smash that like button, guys. These two work their tails off. Give us an awesome entertainment. Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Alexander.
And Jeremy Ford here saying, Sarnak looking really good. Plays a complete 200-foot game. He should not come out of the lineup. I agree. He's looked fantastic. But what do you do when Cizikas or when Jean Gabriel Pajot's back? Because he had the birth of his kid. Are you going to sit Jean Gabriel Pajot? They're probably going to sit. I don't know who they're going to sit. They're probably going to sit Zarnak.
But here's the thing. That's why you didn't need to re-sign Casey Cizikas. You don't need to re-sign fourth line players. They're so imminently replaceable.
And Warzone Senior Citizen says here, Bellows with a heavy shot on goal, creates a rebound, digs the puck up again, outlet pass, bada bing,
bada bing, bada boom, goal.
If Bellows is on the first line of the Eastern Conference Finals Game 7, the Islanders win the cup.
I don't know about that.
Ooh,
but it certainly would have given us a better chance.
Jeremy F. saying, it's not your usual coiffed look, Grump.
Yeah, I even asked the warden, I said, how does the hair look, warden? She's like, it was a little puffy. I said, and then I said a little bit later, I said, how's it look now? I said, oh, it looks great. Obviously not. Because I can't trust a warden.
Stephen Porter saying, how does Grumpy have a better hairline than TJ?
Because I'm prettier than he is.
Oh, that's what it is. And Jeremy Ford said, Lambert must be listening to you guys. 17 minutes of ice time through 40 minutes so far for Noah Dobson.
He should be playing all the time.
We've got TJ's bladder saying, hello, boys. Missed that Tony Cheese guy. I think he missed the last week's podcast. I hope he's okay.
I'm sure
I think TJ's bladder and Tony Cheese happen to know each other pretty well.
I don't know anything about that. But I'm sure Tony is fine and dandy.
Absolutely. And Alexander said, I think Brady will win the MVP, but if Rodgers wins, I wouldn't be surprised. I wonder, too, if Rodgers, the whole vaccine thing affects his ability to win the MVP. I don't think he deserves the MVP, but I wonder if he doesn't, if people are going to say, oh, it's because if they're going to try to somehow make this political, oh, the reason he didn't win was because he wasn't vaccinated and people didn't like. No, flat out and simple. I think Tom Brady was just a better player this year.
I just hate when people try to make statements about, like the Baseball Hall of Fame, statements on political things. It's like, okay, what were they as players? It's all it counts is performance on the field for Hall of Fame. Were you one of the best players when you were playing? Yes or no? And, for Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's deserving, but to say you're not going to vote for him because of his vaccination thing, that's just stupid.
I did see a few writers say that. I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, here's the thing. It's because Tom Brady's the better coach or the better player. He should win the MVP, in my opinion, too. I was just exploring all the options earlier. Alexander said, because Flores created a toxic locker room environment. He treated everybody like garbage and never got along with anyone. He wasn't fired for performance. He was fired because of his inability to get along with everybody.
Who does that sound like? That's Bill Belichick in a nutshell. He's a no-nonsense coach, without a doubt. He's a no-nonsense guy.
Brandon Gaines here saying, absolutely a fireable offense if Bellows gets scratched once Kyle Palmieri comes back. One turnover aside, he's been good on both ends and is finally playing to his size. I love to hear that.
Because he's been finally given a legitimate shot to play without repercussions of getting benched if you make a mistake or just getting 5 minutes of ice time. There's a reason why the young guys are starting to stand out when you play them, because they're ready to play. Like I said, that's the biggest frustration with me with that current Islander regime.
He drug tested 2 or 4 times before the Saints game. I don't think he drug tests. The NFL drug tests. The teams don't. I don't believe. That sounds Rudy. That sounds like something I do in college. And Steven says here, what does Grumpy think about Pittsburgh getting their 7th Super Bowl this year? It's funny you bring that up, Stephen Porter. Now, Big Ben right? There's actually some fantastic hockey news you're going to like, but Big Ben was talking about their chances of beating the Kansas City Chiefs, Grumpy, and I think everybody can get a good kick out of this. And I want to ask your opinion, and if you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are poised to make a deep playoff run. I'll let you listen to the clip.
We haven't discussed it, but I think, I would assume as a group you understand that, we probably aren't supposed to be here. We're probably not a very good football team. We're out of 14 teams I think are in, we're probably number 14. We're a double-digit underdog in the playoffs. So let's just go play and have fun and see what happens. Yeah, I mean, we're probably 20-point underdogs, and we're going to the number one team that's – I know they're not the number one seed, but they're the number one team that's won the AFC the last 2 years. Arguably the best team in football. We don't have a chance. So let's just go in and play and have fun.
What do you think about that, Crump? I don't disagree, but what type of mindset do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers have?
They look at like they're playing with house money. They were lucky to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I tell you, their motto should be, put the cake in the fridge for one more week. That's what it should be. Ben's retirement cake at the end of a game, just put the cake back in the fridge.
That's what you need to start getting to trend on social media. Put the cake in the fridge.
I don't think their offense is woeful, honestly. So I don't think they have any shot. Sorry, Stephen Porter, of winning a Super Bowl this year. I think Ben is just happy that they made the playoffs. And I think he's just enjoying the ride. Maybe they catch a little lightning in the bottle and beat Kansas City. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be nuts? I mean, here's the thing. You're happy to see him at least make the playoffs on the way out. Do you think there's any magic left in Big Ben's arm? You think there's any magic left in Big Ben?
He reminds me a lot of Breeze at the end. You just can't throw the ball anymore.
It's like, you know what it's like? It's like Tinkerbell when you shook the hell out of her and she's got no more of that magic pixie dust to help you fly. That's where Big Ben is now.
Maybe they should have sprinkled it on some of the other Steeler players, though.
Oh, man. And then he's also saying that was according to what the critics, they said they don't have a chance. Oh, yeah. No, here's the thing. I understood that they were saying, oh, yeah, this is kind of the mentality we've got. This is what I've been hearing out there. So you know what? Let's go out there and just play. And we're playing with house money. But I still think it's still something odd to say. You don't hear it very often. They'll usually be like, hey, the critics, they could go ahead and, they won't be combative, but they'll say something along the lines of, we've worked hard to get to this point. Our team is, never stronger. We're at a time here. We've been playing great football towards the end of the season. And, I got 100% trust in my teammates in the locker room. And I know they've got 100% trust in us. We can't wait, to execute the game plan. And Coach Mike Tomlin and the rest of this team is really firing all in the same direction. Usually they say some BS like that. And he kind of took it a different direction. I like it. I think it's refreshing, but it's not something you hear all the time.
It tells me their team is loosey-goosey.
Yep.
That's what it tells me. And that's the thing. When you're a huge underdog, nobody is expecting you to win. The pressure is totally off.
Did you see Mike Tomlin, man? He was celebrating and dancing in the locker room, everything like that after the win. It just shows you what the expectations were, that they were kind of like, oh, man, this is fantastic. We even made it to the playoffs. And again, they're a team that Big Ben is just the freaking anchor. I mean, he's an anchor on that team right now.
Yeah, he's finished. He came back this year because the cap hit would have been $41 million if he didn't. So they did some type of, financial gymnastics to get him back one more year and kind of lower that cap number going forward. That's all he did.
And now here's another one too. Alexander says here, reports are saying that Watson still wants out regardless. Yeah, I did hear that Watson wants out. They said their plan is Houston wants to have him gone before NFL free agency begins.
I know, but let's say he gets a head coach that he likes. Things can change in a hurry. That's all I'm saying. I never say never, because you never know what can happen.
Look at this. Alexander has cordially invited us to the Ben Roethlisberger retirement party, housed at the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday, January the 16th at 7 p.m. Well, Alexander, I hope that we're able to invite additional members to this, because I think it could be a fun event.
Put the cake in the fridge.
Put the cake in the fridge.
That should be Pittsburgh's motto. Put the cake back in the fridge.
And then Alexander said, oh my God, Wallstrom just absolutely leveled someone. That's what
Another guy, young guy, when you give him a chance, play him on a top line. It's amazing what they can do, isn't it?
Some would say it is. Some would say it is. I'm going to change sports here briefly because I think it's a funny moment, Grumpy Old Man. Do you know who Kodak Black is?
Kodak Black. I don't know. Sounds like a bear. Maybe it's a Kodiak bear. I do not know who Kodak Black is. No.
He's a musical artist, and he happened to pop up into the news. He was recently at a Florida Panthers game, and the NFL or the NHL was tweeting about it. Hey, Kodak Black's in the building. Well, later on during that game, he happened to make a inopportune video appearance, and people happened to start taping him. He had the entire suite to himself. It's going to be tough to see, Grumpy, but I want you, if you could watch my mouse, I want you to be looking at this section right here.
I see it,
and I want you to watch. There's a man and a lady. And I just want you to watch this, and I want you to opine on what you think may be happening on
Something tells me he's going to be getting busy with the girl.
During the middle of the game. I'll let you watch.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my goodness.
They're looking over there like, what the hell's going on?
I mean, what the hell? What about the guy who's got to work there?
So now the question is, what do you think was happening? Well, don't worry. As shocking as this may sound, not only did we have one angle of this, we had two angles of this, Grumpy Old Man. So I will let you I'll let you watch the closer angle, and I'll let you, and this one says Kodak Black was not having sex at a hockey game. He was guys, just a little dancing was all he was doing. I'll let you watch it.
What?
Now
They're doing the Humpty dance.
How the hell did we get two videos of this right here? Needless to say, the NHL took down the fact that Kodak Black was in the building because this happened to be trending on Twitter. And I'll tell you one thing: it means one or two things. If he was having sex, he's not very great at sex, or he's obliterated out of his mind. Or if he was dancing, he's not a great dancer. One or the other.
Looks like that girl lost her job at the dancing on the pole. That's what it says to me.
You see that right there. I'm still so shocked. Who in their right mind who was like, this had to be a friend, somebody take, because this is in the box.
Did this guy wander? All right. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at this guy. He's not really the normal NHL fan.
That's what I said. I wondered, hey, did the NHL say, Kodak Black will pay you to come to the games? We want to get a little bit of media attention. We'll give you the box for free.
And we'll give you some hoe to bang in the box.
No, you can't say that, Grumpy.
Okay, you can't say it. Okay.
We want to bring you in. So, hey, we're going to go ahead and bring you here. We'll let you have the box yourself. You can bring who you want. And he's like, all right, well, anything's better than watching a hockey game out there. I guess I'll get danced on, or I guess I'll have close, intimate relationships with somebody else in an arena full of thousands of Florida Panther fans.
I'm like, okay. I'm just, yeah, NHL guys, what are you thinking?
Well, no, it's not the NHL. The NHL just posted a picture of him, like, "Hey, Kodak Black's in the building," and then this happened later on in the day.
I'm just saying for the NHL, what percentage of their fan base even knows what's his name? Kodak Black?
Kodak Black.
Kodak Black. I don't know his real name. I'm sure that's not it. But let's say, what percentage of fans say I know who Kodak Black is?
Maybe some don't. But again, they're trying to bring people here. I'll be honest with you. The NHL has such a limited fan base. They can't really be picky when it comes to, media celebrities going to the game. Like when Snoop Dogg goes to the game, they bring it up too.
Okay, but Snoop Dogg is very popular. Everyone knows who Snoop Dogg is. I never heard of this guy. I mean, I'm just saying. And then they actually posted this.
No, the NHL did not post this.
Oh, okay.
The NHL posted a picture of him walking, two pictures, and this was early on in the game. Like, Kodak Black's in the building. They deleted the tweet once these started coming out. So once the videos of him, I assume he's somewhat intoxicated or he's under the influence of something. And once they had the videos of him, getting danced on or having intimate relations came out, they said, we're immediately deleting that tweet of Kodak Black being in the building is what happened.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought they put that video up for some reason. I'm like, what?
No, the NHL did.
I don't know. I don't know what they do. That's what I thought happened.
Oh my
I
goodness.
thought the NHL was involved. Hey, look, here's Kodak Black. Look at his moves.
Look at Kodak Black's dancing moves. Family friendly. You think they put that on the top of the Do you think they put that on the top of the tweet? Family friendly.
Yeah. Hey, family of 4 night. You get to see Kodak Black with his moves like Jagger video. I mean, I don't know. I just okay. Well, now it makes a little bit more sense. They didn't know. Okay.
That's a form of a dirty grind or dancing grinding. I
I
tell
know
you,
what grinding is. That didn't look like it.
he wasn't doing too much grinding. He was just kind of standing there like, oh,
Usually the guy's sitting when that grinding occurs. He's like, I don't know.
Kodak Black, Grumpy, not Kodiak, Kodak.
Whatever.
And he's very
Black.
popular down there, Alexander said. I don't listen to music. I drive in a car silent, so I don't listen to any of the new stars. I know he's an artist. But man. Oh, and Alexander saying here, guys, Brock Nelson, such a freaking moron, takes a bad cross-taking penalty after they just killed one off and the Devils tied it up. Freaking unreal.
Nelson.
And then he says here, the Islanders fan base is absolutely pathetic. The nursing home sounds like The Rock. But I'm still just so shocked that they.
I have to say,
who you think was it a member of his entourage, or you think one of the people? Because in these suites, they'll have like a certain person who's like, imagine him almost like a butler, but like it's your personal assistant. They get you food.
Butler? He's like a butler?
No. They have in each one of these suites, they have certain people that said like, oh, okay, do you want this? They clean up. Yeah, call him the butler. Call him the assistant. I don't care. Call him whatever you want. Is this the butler? Is this the assistant who's recording Kodak Black? Or is this a friend of Kodak Black who was just along? Who's like, man, Kodak's wild and he's doing something crazy. And they just videotaped him and posted on social media.
I guess you could say the butler did it, right?
The butler did it.
Yeah.
God,
I mean,
I'm just saying that skirt is mighty far up her booty too. That's all I'm going to say on that.
She's not even wearing a skirt. She's got no underwear on. I mean, she's getting busy.
That's all we'll show of that. I wanted to show you because I know, Grumpy, you have no social media, and it's been one of those things that have been kind of popular on social media here the last little bit of time. I'd say, you know what would have made that perfect? If that was Urban Meyer in some capacity, that would have made it perfect.
Urban Meyer did have that same video, except his niece had her pants on.
TJ's Bladder said, I drive in silence. I thought Phil's facts gave us serial killer vibes. TJ's even worse. I know. I drive in silence.
See, I can't. I mean, sometimes I will, but I don't. I'm like, I got to put something on.
On Friday mornings, it's a treat. I listen to the radio on the way into work. That's it. That's a treat. It's like a little bit of a treat where I'll listen to some good tunes. It's Friday. Other than that, I like to get centered. I like to get focused. I like to be quiet. Just so
get ready for the big day ahead.
You're right. Exactly.
Okay.
I think he's a member of his entourage. Okay, so I was about to say it's a friend he invited on there that recorded him. It wasn't the butler. Now I want to show you this because I think it is actually pretty good, Grumpy. I think it's a good synopsis. Kodak Black and Tom Wilson hitting from behind.
Oh, there you go. Just a little different spin on the term. That's all.
When I saw this, I about died, Grump. Oh my God.
You know, how'd you like to be a dad and say, hey, I know that tattoo. That's my daughter's tattoo.
Well, you couldn't see anything like that, man. I'll tell you.
She had an arm sleeve on.
Jeez,
hey, my teenage daughter went out tonight, and those are the same shoes she had on.
Good gracious, grumpy old man. I tell you, it's something else, dude. It's something else. That entire thing is all something else. But I figured you'd find it interesting and entertaining.
Maybe the action on the ice was nowhere near as good as the action he was getting in that box. That's all I have to say. I don't know if we've lost TJ or not, or if it's me. So I'll just keep talking until we hear something back from TJ, honestly, which I'm fine with. You know, who knows? But like I said, Kodak Black, like I said, I didn't know who he is, who he was, nothing. So it's just wild. It's just wild. I can't believe it. I will try to see if TJ is still on. Maybe he lost power. I don't know. I know we're supposed to have some pretty nasty weather this week where I live. So maybe it's just hitting him a day early. I have no idea. Oh,
Let me ask, how long did I cut out ago?
a while, because I mean, I had to riff.
I was talking.
Oh.
How long? I was talking about offensive and defensive rookies of the year, and I was like, let me go ahead and show this image. And I was like, hold on a second. I don't see it. I don't hear anything.
I had no idea. I thought maybe I had gone out. So I'm like, I had to give him the weather forecast for the weekend at my house.
No,
So,
I'm sorry. I was saying here for offensive rookie of the year, I think. Is that one of the two
about my weather? They're telling me about the weather.
Now the offensive rookie of the year is what I was saying before I stupidly closed out of the window. The offensive rookie of the year, I think it's a foregone conclusion. That's going to be Jamar Chase. Had a fantastic year, excellent season. And I think your defensive rookie of the year, I think it's a foregone conclusion. It's going to be Micah Parsons from the Cowboys. Both, Parsons played fantastic for the Cowboys this year. Jamar Chase played fantastic this year for the Cincinnati Bengals. We would agree on those 2 points, right?
Yeah, I think there's somebody else in the running for the offensive player rookie of the year, but I think it should be Jamar Chase. I 100% agree.
Micah Parsons, I think, is a foregone conclusion in that spot. And when you talk about Jamar Chase, I mean, you look at it, he's I don't care too much about the deep receiving touchdowns. I mean, you look at the stats he put up this year and how much of a weapon he was. Kind of some games he disappeared, but I mean, when he was on, I mean, the guy was putting up 200 plus yards sometimes in a game, and it wasn't like it was unique. It wasn't like it was a one-off.
Yeah, he was very consistent this year, and it brought a different element to the Cincinnati offense, and that's one of the big reasons why they made the playoffs this year. I mean, think about how bad they were last year. 2 years ago, they were the worst team in the league. Burrows comes in, plays however many games, tears his knee up, and then he comes back this year, starts off a little bit slow. It takes a long time to come back from those injuries, but by the end of the year, he was fantastic at quarterback. Sky's the limit for him. But the fact that he's got 3 really stellar receivers, Higgins, who's only 20, Chase, who was 21, and Tyler Boyd, who is the old man, right? He's the old man of that group, but he's a good number 3. I mean, really good.
Now, let me ask you this, Grump. I'm seeing the comments. Hey, Grump with crying faces. Grumpy, you're flying solo. And then TJ Splatter saying, never thought I'd see Grumpy crash and burn after being left alone. That was it rough, Grumpy? What happened? How long was that going for?
I didn't know if it was me or you who was not there. Because sometimes my internet goes out and I have to sign on. I looked, it was on, but sometimes I look and it says that it's on and I get lost. So I didn't know. And it took a while for me to say, is it me? Is it TJ? I didn't know. So I'm just glad you came back on because I didn't know who it was. I was getting ready to sign off. The only thing that stopped it is I think it probably would have ended the podcast. So that's why I hung on.
I'm glad you stayed on. I'm glad you wrote it out, Grump. A little technical.
Yeah, but it was terrible. It was the worst solo flight ever. Charles Lindbergh, I was not on that flight.
No. And again, to give a little bit of a conclusion, to give a little bit of the ending on this story, a grumpy old man. Antonio Brown said regarding his outburst on the field, it probably wasn't necessary or professional. Good. Well, that's a good thing, man. That's good to know. Right?
He says this all the time. He says this all the time. It's the same thing all the time with this guy. Always. Then he apologizes, but you know what? He's a loose cannon.
I would like to think, grumpy old man, that there is room for personal growth, right?
Yeah, but we've been saying that for how long with him? This is not a first offense, a second offense, a third offense, a fourth offense, a fifth offense. There's a reason why these things keep happening to him. I mean, it is what it is.
I will tell you, Grumpy. So, I've got, and I still am in the camp of hopefully he gets some personal growth. Maybe he'll receive one more shot. He probably won't after watching the outburst and all the backlash and what happened afterwards. He probably won't. But
who is going to take a chance on a guy who quits in the middle of the game and throws his equipment in the stands? Who is going to? And here's the thing, right? The ankle was so bad. He's out dancing the next night. Not with he doesn't have a walking boot on. I haven't heard anything about his surgery. I mean, he just wanted more targets. That's what it came down to. And that's the thing that kills him. It's not like he was hurt. It wasn't the case. He wanted to get the ball more. He's just so dumb. If he just would have kept his mouth shut and played, he would have got his targets.
Alexander said, God, Grumpy froze up. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was me. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give myself a mulligan on that one because I didn't know if it was me or DJ.
Fair enough. And Alexander saying, did Anson Carter get fired from NHL Network?
I know he's been doing Islander
Fuck the
games.
Islanders. Yeah, I love him.
But remember, with the pandemic, NHL Network is also stationed in New York. So I don't know if the guys are traveling to games anymore or if they're calling them from the box. But I'm sure the studio show is probably done in New York. I don't think they're going to be sending Shannon around the country. Not at this point in time.
Jeremy saying Barzy with a rip, Barzy, and then from Bailey. Bailey must have had what a shot assist by Josh Bailey, and would have filmed saying, "Oh my Josh!" Must have been a Josh Bailey assist on a Matt Barzal goal. I mean, 9 straight games for Barzal with at least a point.
Best player on the team by far. By far.
Alexander said, "Yeah." Anson Carter said we got a shot, so I'm okay with that guy.
Well, let me tell you something. He might say that. He doesn't believe it though. He knows. Believe me, he knows.
Now, let me ask you this, Grump. Who do you see as being the defensive player of the year? Now, there's a few candidates. And now people are saying, hey, Micah Parsons might be, deserving of defensive player of the year. Some people are saying it's got to be TJ Watt, right? 22.5 sacks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some people are saying Aaron Donald deserves defensive player of the year. Grump, let me ask you, who do you have in the camp as your defensive player of the year?
I want to say Micah Parsons. I thought he was great this year. He was a difference maker on a team that, all right, Dak was hurt last year, but they were miserable last year. He comes in and he's been just everything is advertised. Remember when he dropped in the draft and we were like, why is this kid dropping? When he had the, what were the issues that he had? He had some type of issues that caused him to drop down the board because he was supposed to be like a top 5 pick.
So I remember they had issues sometimes with misdirection plays. He struggled, is apparently what I heard, and there were a whole bunch of reasons, but nothing that I think was really concrete. Grumpy old man. So
I thought it was some type of personal issues off the field while he was at Penn State, which caused him to drop.
It could have been, but I know the guy was always penciled in to go. Top 10, top 15. I mean,
top 2. He was like the man. He was the top defensive player off the board, and he slid because of whatever went on.
Now, I'm going to show you, Grump. Now, did you happen to see what happened between the MLB and the MLBPA? It looks like they are nowhere near closer to agreeing upon a deal. And this is from John Heyman. He says, the MLB remains dead set against lowering free agency from 6 years to 5 years. Part of the concern stems from the history of big stars jumping from smaller markets to bigger markets when they hit free agency, and the belief that it could hurt competitive balance. I mean, I would argue it already has hurt competitive balance, and 6 years isn't enough if that's the ideology they're using.
Here's the thing. MLB, will the owners cave? That's because the players won't. I can guarantee you they won't cave because the owners have the history of caving, right? If I'm them, if you want to lower from 6 to 5, then we have to have salary cap. And I would tie it like that. That's fine. We'll go from 6 to 5, but we have to have salary cap with cost certainty. And that'll end that because there's no way the players are going to ever give them that. Like I said, the owners, if they're smart, they lock them out for a couple of years. If you want to win this, you have to almost suspend baseball for a couple of years. Make it hurt in the players' pocketbooks. That's how you get them back to the table.
And Jeff Passan was saying, there's no deal. There never was going to be one today. The MLB made a proposal. The reaction among the players was not positive. Few on either side expected it to happen. The question is how soon the MLBPA counter. Spring training starting on time is in peril, and right now they're not allowed to practice at facilities. So you're hearing a lot of that as well, saying, okay, what does the outcome look like if we continue to prolong this?
They say that they have to get this settled by the beginning of March, like the first week of March, so as not to lose any games. I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. I think I don't know if the owners are. I don't know if they're ready to fully commit, but you would have to think at some point in time, yeah, you know what? We have to get our own house in order here. They see all the other sports with salary caps and how that's working. And I can't blame them, but the baseball union is the most powerful of all the sports unions, without a doubt. It goes back to when Marvin Miller was in charge back in the 1970s. I don't think they've ever lost a labor negotiation since Marvin Miller was there in the 70s. Ever.
Must be a good guy to have on your team.
Yeah. Well, he's dead, but they've had a whole bunch, but he set the tone without a doubt. Back, I think it was 1974, 75, something like that.
Grump, I'm going to go ahead and show you this because the next portion I want to talk about is the NFL playoffs. I know we kind of jumped away from that, but I wanted to talk about kind of a few items. I wanted to go game by game because we're covering again, for those who just joined in, we're going to be covering the Cowboys 49ers game on Sunday, and we're going to be covering the Patriots Bills game on Saturday. So we're going to have those. We're going to have a lot coming at you. Grump, I want to ask you kind of game by game what you're expecting here in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay. Which one do we want? We want to just
Let's start at top left.
Kansas City and Pittsburgh. I don't see any way. I don't think Kansas City is anywhere near as good as they were 2 years ago or even last year, but Pittsburgh is just not good enough offensively to beat them. So I'm picking Kansas City in that first game.
Gotcha. I've got Kansas City too. I think they're the favorite to make it out of there, but I've got Kansas City also, Grump. Now, who do you have in the Patriots against the Bills?
Third time they're playing in a month? Since December 6th, it's going to be the third game they play. The first game was when there was 50-mile-an-hour winds in Buffalo, and Mac Jones only threw the ball 3 times in that game, and the Patriots wound up beating the Bills. They got the ball deep inside Patriot territory 2 or 3 times, couldn't hit a kick, didn't convert on fourth down. And then 2 weeks later, they played up in New England, and the Bills just absolutely pulverized them. I don't even think Buffalo punted the whole day. I expect to see that too. I think.
Do you think that Bill Belichick and the Patriots are going to be more motivated after getting their asses kicked in Foxborough against the Bills, and that's going to motivate them to have a closer game? I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a close game.
Once again, the weather is going to be the Patriots have kind of had the stars align for them this year. Whenever they've played anybody that they've beaten, like when they beat Tennessee was missing their top 2 wide receivers, and Derrick Henry was their first week without Derrick Henry, and A.J. Brown was out, and Julio Jones was out. I mean, they've had quite a few games like that when they played the Buccaneers, even though they lost. It was tremendous rains. Dallas just kept turning the ball over all day, had almost 600 yards of offense. I just don't think New England is that good, and I think you see them losing 3 or 4 games down the stretch. I think they're just waiting for the season to be over. Mac Jones has taken a step back in the last month and a half, and I just think that Buffalo is just too good for them. So I'm picking Buffalo by at least 14 points in that game.
I'm picking a close game. If it's a win for Buffalo, it's 3 points. I'm saying it is going to be close, Grumpy. Okay. I don't want to say the Patriots, but I think that game's gonna be close. Now we're talking Oakland against Cincinnati. Who do you have?
Las Vegas against Cincinnati.
Las Vegas Raiders against Cincinnati Bengals.
The Raiders. Earlier this year, the Bengals put a whooping on the Raiders, and I see more of the same. I don't think that the Raiders are good enough to keep up with the Bengals. The Bengals had one stumble down the stretch. Other than that, they've been really, really good and getting better each week.
They've been getting hot. And I think the Bengals are a team that I think they win the first week. They might lose the second. Maybe they'll win for 2 weeks. I think at one point the inexperience and the newness to that level will kick in. But I think the Bengals beat the Raiders.
I'm going with the Bengals also.
I've got the Buccaneers over the Eagles. Not much to say on that one, I don't believe. I know the Buccaneers, even though they might be a little banged up, I just don't believe too much in Jalen Hurts and that Eagles team. Honestly, I'm shocked the Eagles have performed as well as they did. With that young coaching staff going into the season, I really thought they were going to be one of the 10 worst teams in the NFL, and I was wrong on that one.
The Eagles played really hot down the stretch, albeit playing a lot of the weaker teams in the league. Whenever they played somebody who was any good, they got beat and killed. Tampa is getting back a number of their defensive players because, they're the one thing that the Eagles do well is run the ball. And Tampa Bay has traditionally been extremely good stopping the run. That has not been the case the last month. It also coincided with the absence of Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett, and Levante David. You see how much that Devin White misses Levante David in there. He's done nothing since David's been out. So,
Okay.
but I'm still picking New England in a close game.
Gotcha. And we've got the 49ers against the Cowboys. I just think that it's a bad matchup for the Cowboys. I know you've mentioned before the Cowboys have only played one team or beaten one team with a winning record this season. The Eagles. That's right. I just think it's a bad matchup. I think the 49ers are a team that's playing well as of late. It all comes down to Jimmy G. I think he is the complete he is the linchpin on how that game goes. If Jimmy Garoppolo does what he usually can, which is be a game manager, hand the ball off, doesn't make any poor decisions, doesn't turn over the ball, I think the 49ers are in good shape because they're going to run that clock down, try to wear out that defense. And I mean, the pass defense and the pass rush are the two things that the Cowboys have really excelled in. That's one thing that the 49ers underutilized quite substantially. And it comes down to what type of offense are we going to see from the Cowboys against the 49ers. I think that has a chance to be one of the most enthralling matchups. I think that the Cowboys and 49ers game is going to be a great matchup. Same exact thing might happen with the Cardinals and the Rams later on.
Yeah, I'm picking San Francisco in that game. And you're 100% right on everything you said. Jimmy Garoppolo is the key. Can he play error-free football? When he does, they're really good. When he's not, they lose. Dallas struggles stopping the run, and that's the one thing that San Francisco does really, really well. How do you keep a high-powered offense in check? You keep them off the field. Deebo Samuel has been fantastic in that hybrid wide receiver running back role. Elijah Mitchell is back and healthy, and he's been fantastic, getting 4 or 5 yards a pop. I just think that San Francisco is hot at the right time, and I think they're going to beat the Cowboys this week.
Gotcha, grumpy old man. And now, who do you have against the Rams against the Cardinals? I think the 49ers are going to win. I think that game is going to be a close game, though. I just think matchup-wise, if they're able to run the ball and control the clock, the 49ers win. If the Cowboys' run defense is stout, I think the Cowboys win. I mean, it's as simple as that, and Jimmy G. Now, who do you have against Cardinals against the Rams?
That's tough because both teams have faltered down the stretch.
Yes.
And as a Buccaneers fan, I'd rather see the Cardinals win because the Buccaneers cannot beat the Rams. They don't match up with them at all. I still am mystified how they lost to San Francisco last week, being up 17-0 and even 17-3 at half. I'm just like, how did you lose that game? Sean McVay had never lost a game when he was winning at halftime. Never.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. And it's like, well, that's out the window. And I mean, I don't know. It just seems like they've kind of run out of gas. That said, the same's true with Arizona. I mean, they've just kind of fallen apart. They lost to Seattle last week. They can still put points up, but their defense has struggled down the stretch also. So if that's a Monday night game, that's the NFL greedy game, I call it, because we've added another night and more TV revenue. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Arizona is going to win.
I'm going the Rams. I know both these teams have struggled down as of late. The game they lost against the 49ers was quite odd in nature. I just feel like the Rams and that pass rush defense, and that defense is just so stout. It comes down to, is Matt Stafford going to be able to replicate what we saw in the beginning or even the middle portion of the season, or is he going to struggle as he did late? Hopefully he's able to get past a little bit of that lull and win himself. I don't think Matthew Stafford has never won a playoff game. This would be, if he wins, that'd be the first playoff game he's ever won in the history of his career.
I don't even know how many playoff games he's even been in.
I was about to say for the Lions, maybe 1 or 2 tops. The playoffs are something he's never really, and I wonder if he comes fired up and invigorated for this playoff run. I mean, this is the first time I'd argue he actually is on a team that has a legitimate shot to win a Super Bowl. I mean, he's been playing for those miserable Lions for years and years and years and years. But to play counter, to play devil's advocate, this could be a moment to where he's not a clutch player when it comes down to the playoffs, and maybe that's it. But it's going to be interesting to watch. I think I've got the Rams over the Cardinals in that matchup.
And just a couple of players coming back this week. Supposedly Cam Akers might be coming back from his season-ending knee surgery that he had. How good would he possibly be? Honestly, I don't know. Sony Michel has been doing a nice job filling in. He's taken over the lead back job from Darrell Henderson Jr. But here's the big one. They lost their starting safety, so they've signed Eric Weddle.
Eric Weddle. Yeah, they signed him out of retirement. I did see that.
I mean, how good could he possibly be at 37 after not playing for what? How long? It's been a year and a half?
I was about to say Eric Weddle's not fantastic at safety. That entire defense, though, is pretty stout. Eric Weddle is good when it comes down to knowing where he needs to be on the field. So that's at least good in that area. Again, positionally, he's pretty good. He doesn't have much left in the tank at this stage in his career, I don't think. That being said, he's fresh legs, right? Play devil's advocate. He has not taken a beating of a full season like all these other men have.
His legs are going to be like jelly at the end of that game. And they just are. I mean, if the game is
tired, but I mean, he'll get better as the playoffs go on.
Well, but he might be out after the first round. It's one and done. So, I mean, at the end of the game, that's who I'm targeting. Well, he's 36, 37 years old.
He's not going to be covering man. He's not going to be in man coverage by himself on too many wideouts.
He can't run anymore.
That's what I said. That's why they're not going to have him in that spot.
Like I said, how desperate are you when you're signing Eric Weddle off the street? How desperate do you have to be? Desperate. Well, it was like when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed Richard Sherman early this year with the cornerback situation. How desperate do you have to be to sign those guys?
So to give it to you real quick, the Rams, Grump, I mean, the Cardinals are still without DeAndre Hopkins. That's a big loss on their team. And I think that's why you've seen Kyler Murray's stats struggle big time towards the middle and the tail end of the season.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Like I said, they've just looked discombobulated, the Rams. That's the only reason I'm picking Arizona. If it was 6 weeks ago, I'm picking the Rams, but they've just they've gone in the wrong direction. And they're all in this year, right? Von Miller's done nothing since they picked him up. Neither is Beckham. Neither is Weddle.
Okay, Beckham has played well. That's just bullshit. Come on.
Grumpy,
come on.
He's not put up great numbers for them.
What would you consider good numbers? What would you let me tell you how many games, and I'll ask you what you consider good numbers. Give me.
What's he played? 3 games for them? 3 games?
Give me a second. Give me a second. He's played more than 3 games. What? Man, he was traded at the trade. He was traded at the trade deadline or before the trade deadline.
Okay, that was like the end of November. No, second week in November. How many games has he played?
Yeah, I will let Jesus for the 5th time. You got to give
how many games? How many times I got to ask? How many games?
You're right. You're right. Only 3 games. I'm wrong. You're right.
Okay, so what does he have? Does he even have 20 catches?
What would you consider good over a 3-game stretch? Just so I kind of understand your barometer.
25 catches, 180 yards, and a couple of touchdowns.
Let me go ahead and pop this up on screen. I think you're going to be shocked as to how well Odell Beckham Jr. has played when he actually is a competent quarterback. In the 3 games he's played, he's played 8 games. Oh my God. I looked at his number. He's played 8 games, grumpy old man, with the Rams. Not 3. I apologize. Over that time period, 27 catches, 305 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think he's played well. It's
okay. So not even 40 yards a game, and not even and 3.5 catches, not even 40 yards a game. I'm sorry.
Okay. Brand new team, brand new system, brand new playbook. Going to take him a while to get used to it. That's all.
Yeah, I just don't think he's been. And here's the thing: he was a starter right away because Robert Woods went out the same week. He's been underwhelming. It's been Cooper Kupp all year with Tyler Higbee. Look at Higbee's numbers. I bet they've been better than that too at the end of the year.
Higbee's numbers have been good. They target the hell out of him though. But do I think
they don't throw the ball to Beckham? They don't throw the ball at him.
Gotcha. Well, we're going to move along, grumpy old man. We got a lot to cover, still left to go. Now, Alexander's saying here that 4th line looks so much better with Ross Johnson in.
Yeah, you got 3 players on it now. Well, 2.5. Casey's a half a player.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We've got here, Islanders win, says Jeremy Ford here. And Alexander saying the Islanders win. Jeremy Ford also saying here, Mayfield is a beast in his own end and on the boards.
That's when he's in the best in crunch situations. That's why he plays. That's why Barry Trotz / Lane Lambert did the same. Send him out there in crunch time. There's a reason.
Absolutely, Grump. And we got another comment here. What a film saying, great game tonight, boys. Hope you recorded it. Solid game. And from Wallstrom with a huge hit. I heard there was a huge hit. I'm going to look on social media. And what the film's also saying, the Cowboys defense wins this game. They're going to win the turnover battle.
That's the whole thing. If Jimmy Garoppolo turns the ball over, they'll lose. If he doesn't, they'll win.
Got a comment here from 1777 saying, "What's up, Grumpy and TJ? What is up, 1777 memorabilia? Any upsets you like this weekend?"
Yep, we just went over it. I'm going to say San Francisco and Arizona. I don't know how much of an upset Arizona is, honestly. I think they both teams have the same record, don't they? Or very close.
Yeah, I was about to say both those teams were good. I think the biggest upset would be the 49ers against the Cowboys. But, I mean, the Cowboys, I don't know. I'm sure. Here's the thing. There's going to be a fantastic team that loses. There's going to be a team that we didn't expect. It's not like every single team that's got the higher seed is going to win except maybe one or two. There's always more craziness. And the playoffs, every game is close. Very rarely are there blowouts. And he also says there, if McVay wants to win with Stafford, he'll lose. If McVay wants to win Akers and Michelle, he'll win. If he wants to play Akers and Michelle, if he wants to utilize them more in the run game.
I just don't know if Akers is going to be fully healthy coming back. I mean, it's a tough injury to come back from. He's missed a whole year. You have to have some type of rust to start the playoffs.
Warzone Senior Citizen saying here, "Hey, Josh Bailey, grumpy old man wants to know that you gotta go." Oh, he wants you to know that you gotta go.
How much you want to bet he was first star tonight because he scored a goal?
I don't know. I don't even know, Grumpy. Maybe it's Barzal. Sean Woodda, they're saying here, "I'm really glad you guys are doing the Cowboys game. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm celebrating my Josh Bailey tonight."
You know what?
Celebrate
that
Josh
poor
Bailey.
dog. All the other dogs laugh at him when he walks down the street wearing a Josh Bailey jersey. The poor dog. That's Charlie the dog. That's Charlie the dog.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Look at your memory, Grump. Alexander saying Stafford's been in 3 playoff games, and that's what they're saying. I was like, why are they saying 3 playoff games? The 1777 memorabilia says the Rams will win. It's because you're undervaluing the 49ers. The 49ers are top team in the NFC. I wouldn't be shocked if they beat Dallas. I think they're going to beat Dallas. And Alexander said, I wonder if they keep winning under Lambert, does that mean Trotz is in trouble?
No way.
He's saying also, nice, Grumpy. I like the 49ers as well. Pellick was the first star. Maybe, or Parise was the third star. Bailey was the second. Pellick wants the first star because he just got his all-star appearance. He's going to be an NHL all-star, guys.
Oh, Pellick is?
He's going to be the representative for the Islanders. Think about that.
Over Matt Barzal. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess he's not overhyped. You can't ever say he's
underappreciated.
Yeah, you can't say that anymore.
No. Now, I want to show you, because we have some fan fights, Grumpy.
That's what I love.
Fan fights. Now, these are brought to us here by Alexander. Who doesn't love a good old fan fight, ladies and gentlemen? Now, this is in TD Gardens. It's called the Boston Brawl. We can tell already.
Hold on, TJ. Before we go any further.
Oh, yeah, shit. We got an ad to read. Thanks for the reminder. Guys, today's podcast is brought to you by DraftKings. Hockey fans, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a no-brainer offer that will make you a winner once a single shot gets past the goalie. New customers can bet just $1 on any NHL team and win $100 in free bets if either team scores. The NHL got rid of ties in 2005, so you know somebody is going to light the lamp. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, no worries. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Hockey Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN and throw down $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. That's promo code THPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. You must be 21 years or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. A minimum of a $5 deposit and a $1 wager is required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full details. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't gamble if you have a gambling problem.
Yeah, that's definitely one. So I don't disagree with that one, Grump. But yes, thank you for reminding me. I was going to keep droning on and totally forget about the ad.
That's okay. That's why I'm here for. That's why we're a good team.
There it is, Grumpy. That's why we're a good team, he says here. And then
to the fan fight segment.
Oh,
in the Boston Garden. I guess I'm going to say it's probably between Mr. Baby Blue, Tar Heel there, and I don't know. I think it says Brown.
Somebody is standing up already. He's trying to look intimidating. I don't know why. Like it looks like it's a sold out arena here, Grump. But yes, the guy standing up, I'm sure, is going to fight with one of these individuals sitting down. He's ready to escalate.
I just look at that. I don't know if what's Brown's first name? Oh gosh, I thought I just
Antonio
Jaylen Brown for the Celtics. I'm just looking at number 7's jersey. D Brown used to be number 7, but I don't think that's whose jersey he's wearing. Is Jaylen Brown number 7 also?
Jaylen Brown. Yep.
Okay, he is number 7 also, because so was D Brown when he played for them. Okay, so Jaylen against Mr. Baby Blue Tar Heel, and he looks like he's challenging him.
Okay, maybe. let's just say Mr. Celtics against Mr. Chapel Hill. We could just say for the Baby Blue for the Chapel Hill.
A green teamer and Chapel Hill.
We could just say Mr. Celtic against Mr. Tar Heel to keep it simple. Mr. Tar Heel starts up. He's trying to talk some sort of mad shit. He's not. I don't know why he stood up. I don't know why he's trying to escalate this. You could tell the adrenaline control. The guy looks like, I'm sure he's probably shaking. Look at his glasses. They're kind of looking like down, like a little bit like a librarian. But he's like, what the hell are you doing that for?
Don't mess with the green teamers.
Oh, I don't know about that, Grumpy. Mr. Tar Heel's throwing freaking punches.
Don't hit me. I've got glasses on. He's going down. Oh! He got everything he deserved, honestly.
Now he's getting double teamed.
That's right, double teaming him.
Look at this.
There we go. I can tell you how this whole thing transpired when we go back to the beginning. They're choking him out too.
Well, he's just trying to keep. He's getting sedated there, and they're just trying to. Hey, de-escalate. No reason to keep punching, man. It's over. We got it. Are you good?
The guy's lifting his hand 3 times. You know, the third time, if it doesn't, they blow the whistle.
What the? So obviously, Mr. Tar Heel he needs to be escorted out. Goodbye.
Pour him back into his seat. I know how that fight started.
How did that fight start, Grump?
Okay, if you go back,
it doesn't look like there's much animosity. All they had to do was get a little bit of the anger out, and there's not much animosity. How did that fight start, Grump?
He's going, hey, I don't care that you say that Tatum is a good player. He's a damn dookie. I'm a Tar Heel. I'm Mr. Chapel Hill. Don't be talking mad shit to me. I know who the best players are. It's not Tatum. Keep rolling. He's like, calm down, Bucko.
He obviously wants him to calm down. Calm down there, Buffalo
calm
Bill.
Down, whatever you say. Just chill your jet sticks. And there's the other guy, innocent bystander. And I don't know what he's doing. Hey, buddy. I like
I didn't know he hit him in the head. I didn't know he hit him in the head at first.
He bitch slapped him. Bam.
I don't think it was more meant to be like, I'm the alpha here. I'm in charge. And he does that, and he's like, what the hell are you doing that for?
He's
and
still got the high gun.
You like how he hits him? He almost tries to hit him with a little bit of a throat punch. We've got another fight too, Grumpy, so I'll have to go quick. He almost hits him with a throat punch. He knocks him down a little bit. Mr. Tar Heel, dude, after that initial contact, he's like, this is my time to absolutely pummel this guy. We get a nice image of this guy's balding scalp over here as well. But he gets a few punches in.
He's getting a couple little shots, but think of Mr. Green Teamer. He's been in these battles before. He's got his arm extended like a good hockey fight should. Got the head turn. He's taken a couple little grazing blows, a couple little grazers. But then guess what happens? As soon as Mr. Chapel Hill, who's not a professional, those are the green teamers. They know how to fight. He's going to find out what happens when you make a little slip up. You get attacked by the whole bunch. Roll it.
Well, he honestly, Mr. Tar Heel, when he's punching Mr. Celtic, he not only is he hitting the guy with the cap, but he's also hitting the guy balding because his punches are so erratic and so thrown forward. He makes a little bit of contact with Mr. Hat and a little bit of contact with Mr. Bald. So I mean, like, he's doing about as good as a situation as he can. But look at this face right here. He's got a. He looks like he is constipated on the toilet, ready to take a shit. Look at that face, though. He is ready to swing. Boom. Boom. He's missing on so many of those punches.
But here's one right there. He yanks him towards him.
I was about to say, you want to talk a little bit about hockey. He overextends Mr. Celtics, yanks him towards him, and that's when it goes downhill.
That's right. That's when it goes bad.
He
And there he goes.
catches him
He
one.
drags him in. He drags him right into the steps. Boom, 2, 3. I mean,
Dude,
holy,
this one right here, when he's sitting
right there.
he's trying to push him off. Mr. Celtics eats one to the face. There's not much behind it.
Look
Mr.
at the
Celtics
leverage.
start
Look at
hammer
the-
punching him.
Yeah, but look at the leverage Green Team has on him now. He's just saying, this guy's done. Look at the punches.
That's what I'm gonna say. You can't get any punch or you can't get a lot of momentum and push when you're lying on your back pushing up like this. But Mr. Celtics, he's got a chance just to hammer punch and tee off. Boom, the first one. But Carolina or Tar Heels turtles up a little bit and gets in a good position. But I love how in all these Boston games and a lot of these rowdy fan bases, the security guards are nowhere to be found. This fight happens like over a minute. I'm like, where are the security guards? There's people that stand at every single one of the entranceways and exit ways inside of this stadium or inside of this arena. I'm just like, where the hell are the security guards?
Well, maybe they're all the way up. I don't know.
Oh man. So that's the first fight we had.
But the biggest thing was after that fight, he was crawling around looking for his glasses, and then he stepped on him. Oh no. I'm going to shoot my eye out. No, it was Mr. Green Team punching my face in. And his glasses were all damaged, and he had to tell his mom, oh, Mom, guess what? There was this icicle, fell off the shed, and it hit me and broke my glasses.
He goes home. That's not the first time he's gotten a little bit of a fan fight. I'm sure we might see him again just because he's an instigator. Anytime he drinks, he looks like a freaking loose cannon, I'm sure. So, but we do have some comments, and I'll get to the next fight. Warzone Senior Citizen says here, Bellows is so much better than below average $7 million AAV.
He is. For the money, he's way better.
1777 here, memorabilia says, and I can also see both of the Saturday games as upsets.
I don't.
Sean Wood there says, sorry guys to be semi-rude comments last night, TJ. I'd rather listen to you guys talk than a guy, but I was so rude. Sorry. No worries, Wood, man. It's water off the duck's back. We want to hear exactly what you're thinking. Don't hold back. And Alexander said, yeah, TJ almost forgot the ad. Yeah, I know. Forgetting stuffs already. Evander Kane must love this ad. For certain he does.
Very good.
They're saying, my night didn't get better. After the podcast, Charlie chased a deer, and the deer got run over on the road and smoked. Shitty day. Oh, not good. But he says, nothing just cheers me up like some fan fights.
Fan fights are the greatest.
Oh, man. And Alexander says, look at the guy in the red sweater. It looks like he's rapping. Let me hold on a second. Damn it. I got rid of it. But he says here, TJ, crack me up with his commentary. I appreciate it. And then Drew L saying here, Bellows, keep scoring a point every damn game. I've been telling my friends, you pick them up on fantasy.
It's hard to pick up any Islander in a fantasy league, honestly.
Well, maybe.
It's hard. You got to score points. It's hard. Barzell's the only guy you consider worth picking up, but I wouldn't make an early round pick out of him. It's just the system we play.
Just inconsistent. Is that what it is, you think?
Yeah. Well, no, it's just we don't score a whole lot. Awful tough. That start a guy on your fantasy team or draft him high when he plays with the Islanders. I would say I very rarely draft Islanders on my fantasy team. I'm trying to win.
Yeah, I tell you, it's something else. I'm trying to go back and look through. I'm not seeing anybody in a red shirt.
I think it was the guy who was jumping in there at the end.
I ain't seen it, Grump. What can I say? I ain't seeing it, Grump. I'm not seeing anybody who's rapping over here.
Just keep on watching. There he is, right there, Mr. Sweatshirt. He's like, "Hey, fellas, let's party.
Let's go ahead and stop the violence."
That's TJ. There's TJ. Hey, stop without really getting involved. Hey. There he is.
Maybe he does start rapping a little bit there towards the end. I do see that now. Hey, nothing breaks up a fight like some freestyling beats. And look at the guy in the red sweaters. John M saying, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, John. How are you doing? Now we do have one more fan fight, Grump. It's a Dallas Cowboys fan fight against a Philadelphia Eagle. Now this is the time we've seen Dallas Cowboys fans make their appearance, right? They had the one on Thanksgiving Day where somebody, I think a worker at AT&T Stadium, jumped over the barricade and started punching Cowboy fans. Now this one is a little different, grumpy old man.
Philadelphia is involved, so
I was about to say Philly is, and without even watching the video, I'm sure Philly had more to do here with the fight than anything else.
Look at this.
Hold on, can we talk about what the hell this guy's doing over here? We need to. I'm sorry to hit pause already midway.
Michael Irvin has
what
put
the hell
on
is what the hell is he doing over here? What the hell is this? Is he like, my God, that's not how you get into a fight. Let me go ahead and get ready, baby. Woo! It looks
like how you get into a fight, right, DJ?
Look at the stands, man. Let's look at the stands. This is emptied out. I know it was an ass beat. I mean, the Cowboys kicked the living hell out of the Eagles, and I mean, like maybe this had to do with an Eagles fan saying, "Don't be talking shit about my Eagles."
It just seemed like to me they were just trying to leave. Okay, he's got the big it looks like he's trying to jab. You got to, if you leave with your face,
he turtled up. I mean, you could tell, dude. Look at that. You like how his fellow Eagles fans are like, I'm staying the hell out of this. Get the hell away from me.
This guy's losing his shirt.
The Eagles fan starts getting pummeled. This guy he was, Jesus, man. He's turtled up already. Oh, well, here we go.
Oh, there's Sammy's security guard.
It's a different game too. It's tough to see, but man, oh man, I tell you, anytime you start seeing a guy, he's like, yeah, let's go ahead and fight like
whole
this.
Thing is,
you know what? You need to disassociate with him as soon as possible, because not only is he going to get beaten, you're going to get beaten too. It's like, like a pack of hyenas or a pack of piranhas. Once they taste a little blood in the water.
Yeah, here's the thing though. If those Philly fans were real Philly fans or earlier in the game, that Cowboy guy would have jumped without a doubt. He might have landed the first punch, but that was it. They were going to devour him. You're right, like piranhas. Philadelphia is a slime ball town. It really is.
Jurel said, I know we've been playing bad teams, a.k.a. the Devils, but I love Lane Lambert coaching this team.
Well, don't get used to it.
No, unfortunately not. John M. saying, Alexander, we're the psychiatrists being Phillies fans. We are a psychiatrist
Fins
fans. I'm sorry, Fins fans. Dolphins. And then Warzone Senior Citizen says, Grumpy old man, I finally understand what you mean about TJ's reading. I hope his weightlifting skills are better.
That was right after you just butchered the last comment. Thank you.
Hey, I do what I can. Now, to top it off with a little bit of funny gaffes. And now here's the thing, Grumpy. Have you happened to see what's been going on in AFCON, the African Cup of Nations?
Soccer, right?
Soccer.
They suck. So
now, here's the thing. Well, there's good players.
There might be good players. The teams suck.
Okay, they've had time periods before when they've been good. When Didier Drogba, Samuel Eto'o, etc. That being said, there have been some refereeing gaffes, and there have been some gaffes across the field. So I want to show you some of the items that have happened, and it's provided some funny content. Is all I'm going to say, Grumpy old man. So I think you'll enjoy this one. A player gets hurt and needs to be carted off.
And he gets run over.
Wait until...
What the hell?
They wanted to make sure they were out there as soon as possible. He's like, what the...
And the thing is, if he got touched less than that on his leg, he would have fallen down and rolled around on the ground. He gets run over by a car, he doesn't even go down. Those are soccer players for you, though, right? A guy could breeze against his arm or something, and he falls down like guy just got run over by a car, and he was fine.
Well, speaking about how players take a little bit of a flop, I will let you watch this one too, Grumpy. Now, this one is, how Neymar did the dive and the roll all over the place? Obviously, this isn't Neymar, so it's not the same, but I want you to take a look at this. He gets fouled, obviously. He's rolling around. He's like, hold on. He takes a look. Boom! You see that right there? He tries to hit him with an elbow. He tries to head him there a little bit and hit him with the elbow in his shoulder. Boom!
Oh yeah, give you a little shot from behind.
They had, and let me see if I don't want to, because a lot of these soccer, anytime we show clips, they'll take the video down. So not demonetize, but they'll take the video down. So they had a one referee in a game. I can't remember which one it was. I believe I can't remember who was playing. Long story short, referee called the game at the 85th minute. He blew the whistle to end the game at the 85th minute. Then
maybe he didn't know it was supposed to go 90.
And then he blew it a second time at the 89th minute after they said they need to bring everybody out there. So he called it early once again. And apparently the referee has been suspended due to possible bribery. So you're just kind of like, oh, goodness.
I'm going to tell you what. That's unfortunate. You know, he had a hot date after the game. Those guys were dogging it like there. They got run over. I mean, you know, hey, let's wrap it up, fellas. We don't know what the score was, so you know, could have been 7-0 because those teams are woefully mismatched. So
Drew L saying, so I guess we just have to hope Trotz, or guess we just hope for Trotz not to resign. To resign. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think if the offer's there, he's going to resign. Warzone Senior Citizen says here, I knew Anders Lee was an overpaid loser when he was groveling. Nope. Not reading that comment. Sorry. It's political. Anything that's political, we try to take.
He's not wrong, but yeah, we don't get political.
We don't get political on the show. Yeah, Grump, we're here towards the end of today's podcast. What do you have to say before we wrap things up?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens, and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Well, thank you, Grumpy, for always being on here. Now, again, we will have we're going to have our Islanders podcast. Because we're going to be covering the game live on Saturday. Yes. The Islanders play a Saturday, a 2 o'clock start time. Yep. So we'll be covering that game live, doing the immediate podcast after, taking a little bit of a break. And then we'll be covering the Buffalo Bills against the New England Patriots that evening. So we'll be covering the Islanders game live, doing a post game right after that. And then we'll be covering the Patriots against the Bills. So make sure, again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We'll be going live during the NFL playoff games. We're going to be giving you some content there. It's still not going to affect our normal podcasting schedule, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be live with you on this channel Saturday evening, the New England Patriots against the Buffalo Bills. It will be can't miss football, NFL playoff football, Grumpy Old Man. What do you want to say before we wrap things up, if anything?
I just want to say one last thing. When Brady was in New England, I think they were 25-3 against Buffalo. Since he's been gone, they're 1-3.
So you think that, okay, Grumpy.
I think the quarterback had something to do with it. That's all.
Maybe it had a little bit to do with it. But I want to thank you, Grumpy, for being on here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, we always love the support, guys, and appreciate the undying support there. You guys are what makes us do it. We don't do it for money or anything like that. We do this, again, trust me, we're not in this for the money. We're in this just to talk sports and to shoot the shit with you guys and the fans and to talk football and to talk hockey, baseball, and to spend time with Grumpy and with you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be with you this upcoming Saturday. Buffalo against the Patriots. Be there.